Hello, Fabulous Leo. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of August 2016. Love focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an important month it is for you all around, but especially in love. Now, I touched on this a little bit in the general focused horoscope, but especially, I gotta dive right in here and say that this is going to be one of the most surprising, one of the more fortunate moments that you are going to have in love, where you literally could see your relationship either jump forward or transform dramatically, be released if it isn't the right relationship for you, and the real possibility of somebody else showing up and opening all kinds of doors for you in your heart and in your spirit. It's a time when you're going to understand your relationship differently, and this really is one of those times where you're going to see love, where you are in love, the love you have or the love you want, from a very different perspective. Lots of emotion is going to come up, but ultimately this is about empowering you. It's about liberating you. It's about realizing what love is and what love isn't, so that you can move more purposely in the direction of an authentic and genuine love. So this is really thanks to, in part, the eclipse. We've got an eclipse happening in your opposite sign, and this eclipse is speaking in harmony with Uranus and fellow fire sign Aries. And what this suggests, really, eclipses, especially a lunar eclipse, it really eclipses the past. It puts the past to rest. It helps us to see what it is that has served its purpose. Now, sometimes this awareness can come on quite by surprise, and sometimes this awareness can sort of jolt us back into a more loving plan for our lives. And that tends to happen, if you're not necessarily one of those people who reflects a lot, right? People who reflect more, who tend to be a little bit more approaching life with greater consciousness, might not always experience eclipses in a very surprising kind of way. But given that we have Uranus there, and Uranus is a planet of surprises, but also it's speaking in harmony. So it suggests that any surprises that come up, any realizations that come up, very likely are going to feel very fortunate, and very likely are going to increase your level of happiness as well. So let's take it based on where you are right now. If you're in an established bond, there's two ways that this can play out in particular. So one is, if you're in an established bond and it's the right bond for you, there will be no doubt. This really is about putting the past completely behind you, knowing what it is that you no longer want, and being freed from the past so that you can fully love today and be in the present today. And it's very likely going to be indicated by an experience that you have with this person that you're with right now, that helps you to understand that this is the right person for you. So it really is leaps forward in that relationship, leaving behind any resistance, leaving behind any residual from the past as well. It's possible for some Leos out there that you may have a moment, where you find yourself sort of in an interaction with this person, and you realize something about what you're bringing into this relationship that is not a part of this relationship. It could be some expectation you have, some previous dynamic that you're reliving right now. But that awareness is ultimately meant to free you to understand that you don't have to live past patterns anymore. So this helps you to put that behind you. It is possible with a sky like this, I gotta say, if there is someone from your past that there's some unresolved stuff with, regardless of your relationship status, this is where they very well may show up in some manner or another for you to have that closure that you know it's time for, that you know that you need. For those of you who are open to meeting someone new, well, let me first say, before I go to the new person, because lots is happening there, if you're just getting to know somebody right now, again, this is going to be very make or break. There's not going to be a lot of illusions here. There's lots of truth with this particular eclipse taking place mid-month. And so regardless of, how further along it is or isn't, this really is about seeing things really clearly, seeing who this person is really clearly, no illusions. And chances are there have been little indications coming, even though it still might be a little bit of a surprise. Maybe your intuition has been kind of telling you which way things are going. But this is going to be really undeniable. And again, very make or break. You're going to know this is the right person, leap forward. Not the right person, leaving it alone. For those of you open to meeting someone new, when we have important lunar activity in your opposite sign, like a full moon, for example, it does denote that someone is there. Someone's going to show up to help you to understand something about love and partnership. Now, an eclipse is like a full moon. A lunar eclipse is like a full moon, but like a jacked up full moon. It's like 25 times more powerful. It is that sense of truth. It is that sense of fruition, culmination, and completion of what was, so that you can fully move into your future. So again, chances are someone is going to show up. Might be someone from your past, might be someone reminiscent of someone from your past, but I would put more on the emphasis of someone from the past. And it could just be news that you hear about this person, but it frees you in some way, allows you to move into your future. And if someone new does show up right about now, you know, there is that potential that this could be something really amazing if it involves like a closure of some kind. So if this does involve you understanding what type of person you don't want to be with, and closing a particular tie with someone else so that you can then embrace this new person here in front of you, then that helps a lot. But I will say this, we do have this month, just before the eclipse, we are going to have Mercury enter shadow, and then Mercury will retro at the very end of the month and throughout September, for the better part of September, will be especially active then. And so what this does suggest to me is that if anyone new does show up, the chance of sticking around is kind of possible, especially if you meet them in the earlier part of the month when we have a new moon in your sign. Or if you hear something, you know, someone's coming into town that you haven't met before, a friend of a friend, it is possible that there could be some long-term potential there, but my advice really would be to stay in the moment. The long-term potential normally is indicated by Saturn. Saturn's more active with the new moon early in the month, not so much with this particular eclipse. This eclipse is more about freedom from the past, and it's more about understanding who you no longer are in love, what type of partner you no longer need to be with because you have evolved, you have changed, and ultimately your partner is just reflecting something back to you about who it is that you believe yourself to be. And that really is key, because that element of belief is going to go to another place of understanding next month. And of course, I'll be here to talk about it then. What I love about this month for you is that love is there. Love learning is there. And it does suggest a time when there's a lot of power available to you and a lot of change available to you as well. In an instant, you can leave the burdens of the past behind you and move into a love that feels liberating, that feels fun, that feels significant. A love with the potential to change you in ways that you like very much.